Lena, can we like maybe do work and stuff?
Well,
We have a car to do.
if I don't take a picture, it didn't happen.
But you're not doing anything.
I mean, I'm doing a video.
You're just taking photos of yourself doing nothing.
No, I got the mini thingy in it.
What's up, guys? Rich Rebuilds here, back with my electric Mini Cooper build. Now, last episode, I found a car with a blown engine for an electric conversion on a budget. I paid $1,500 for it, and I could have paid less for a running and driving one, but none of them were this pretty blue color. The color is literally called electric blue, which seemed fitting, so of course I spent more than I should. Now, before I get too far into this, I should let you know my budget. That way it makes everything else make sense. The budget's $5,000, including the price of the car. So right now I have $3,500 left to spend to make it an electric car. Now in the first episode, I brought it to the electrified garage to rip out the engine and transmission. The catalytic converter was hollowed out, and the exhaust was being held up by chicken wire. And the engine was, in fact, blown. Now that everything is out, I can start the planning process of finding the most important part of the car, the motor. Now, the manual transmission already has the provisions for me to get the motor power to the ground, so I'd be stupid to get rid of that and add complexity. So it's going to stay manual. If you're pretty savvy, you can go to sites like DIYelectriccar.com or endlesssphere.com or Facebook on a page called DIY Electric Vehicles. Now, don't forget eBay. I typed in DC motor into eBay, and this auction with a single thumbnail popped up and said it was an advanced DC 8-inch electric motor. But if you look at the auction carefully, it also has what looks like another device attached to it, which is the motor controller. And not just any motor controller, a Zilla motor controller. Arguably one of the best DC motor controllers you can get your hands on, which I'm going to need as well. Now, if you go on eBay and type in Zilla controller, look at these prices. That's my whole budget pretty much. Needless to say, if you see a motor and controller for $800, I'm buying it. I gave them the $800 and I went on my merry way. So I have a car shell motor and a controller for $2,300 spent. Now the not so good part is that I don't think my 8-inch motor is going to be able to move this car as well as I would like. Normally 8 inches is good on paper, but in reality you want 9 inches, so I'm still after a larger motor. Now a couple weeks later this gem popped up, a Warp 9 for $200. Hands down, one of the best places to find parts is a technical school. The kids make EVs and many of them abandon the projects because they're like, wait a second, there's girls in this class. What am I doing? They pretty much lose interest and the vehicles sit there a lot of the times, so I got this part for a huge discount. A lot of people are going to ask why I didn't go with an AC motor so I can have regenerative braking. Well, two reasons. One, DC motors where I am are a little bit easier to come by and can be found in things like forklifts for a low startup cost. And number two, simplicity. For this application, DC motors are much simpler to set up, just like this webpage I made using Squarespace. It's easy to claim a domain or URL like www.yes, I'm aware that there's an electric Mini Cooper from the factory.com or www.highschools are a great place to get abandoned EVprojects.com. So then you can create a custom site that matches your style and enthusiasm. Check out these page templates because they'll make your web page look better than the looks on EV enthusiast faces when I unveil my new diesel truck project. Head to www.squarespace.com/richrebuilds to save 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain using the code in the description box below. Shout out to Squarespace for making platforms for people's passions, even if the community thinks they need to convert it into something else. Now let's get to work. Okay, here we go with Judgment Day. Now this is the old engine, and look at this greasy, disgusting mess. It's amazing that I even work on these things in the first place, but this motor is just gross. What we're gonna do is we're gonna do a quick time lapse of the teardown of this. Again, I am keeping the original gearbox. The plan is to separate the gearbox from the engine. Once I separate those two, I'm gonna figure out how to mount the motor to the transmission itself. There it is, boys. And right now I want to take off the clutch. I already started loosening it, so I'm just going to pull it off here for the first time, but there's a special part that I need in this that's going to help with the rest of this build. Oh, Jesus Christ. All right. There we go. This is what we need. I have to mate this to the Lovejoy connector. All right, here we are, Linda. If you could just like not use your phone and stuff. Pay attention to me.
Taking notes.
Okay. Whatever. So what we're gonna do now is we took the old motor out, and now we have to put the electric motor in here somehow. I'm gonna take you over and like show you what the components we're gonna use are and like how they work together. I know this is your first time. You might not know what they are, but you know, I figured I'd show you because you'll be working for me now. You have to know this stuff.
Okay.
All right. So, any idea what this is?
Looks like a DC motor to me.
Oh, excuse me. Oh, wow. All right, not bad. What does DC stand for?
Direct current.
Okay, we're getting somewhere. All right,
Thanks.
so basically, no, that's.
I nailed it?
Yeah, you're spot on. You
Okay.
nailed it.
It's not the state, so that works.
No, definitely. This is not a state. Any ideas what this is?
Is that a controller?
That is
DC controller?
That is the controller. Very
Because this
good.
comes
Yes.
with a pair, right?
Yes, exactly. She's damn good. All right, these come as a pair. Yeah. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna connect this DC motor controller to this DC motor, and this is gonna tell it pretty much how to spin, what direction to go in, all that good stuff. So this is the Lovejoy connector right here, and what this is this actually mates the two surfaces together. So what this does is this it comes apart like that, and there's a rubber bushing in here. This goes on here, right? And then this goes on the inside of this. But the thing is, I got this used. This was a used one. So the spline is different. So basically what has to happen is I have to make this fit that transmission. Because right now it doesn't work because this was for a different car.
Yeah.
So what I have to do is this is actually pretty clever. I'll show you what I have to do. Do you know what this is? Any guesses?
It looks like something that I don't know. A wheel?
Yeah, yes. Yay, it's a wheel. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cut this out. This is part of the clutch. I'm gonna cut this out and get the spline because I know this fits
That's
over
gonna
this
fit.
perfectly, right?
Yeah.
That fits on there perfectly.
Okay. Are you going to weld that together then or something?
That's what I have to do. So I have to cut this out and get this centerpiece.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna put this centerpiece right in here. And what that'll let me do is I could slide it on here from the back.
Yeah.
And then it'll go through that centerpiece, right?
And then you'll be able to connect.
And
it.
then the Lovejoy, if I could figure, will connect right there.
Oh,
And then the
okay.
motor
Okay,
goes on.
okay.
You see the little key? There's a little key in the hole right there. That's the same key in the hole that fits on this one, that little slot.
Okay.
So this actually makes together,
Yeah, like a puzzle.
and then that actually makes the rest of it go. So your first order of business, Linda, we're about recycling here and reusing. Yeah. And this is the old gas tank out of the Mini Cooper that we're going to convert to electric. I need you to take the gas from this gas tank and put it in this truck because there's still good ass gas in here.
Yo, this
Oh,
is
there's a lot in here.
Yeah, this is actually pretty heavy.
Yeah. Yeah, there you go. Now it's down the throat. Oh. You want some free gas for your car too? There's a lot of gas in here.
I mean, yeah. Wow, look at this. Just community gas.
Yep. All right, so we're almost ready now. So here's the motor I got from that car. And it's funny because this car was actually on a website called EV Album, and EV Album is a good website to go to if you have an EV project you want to start so you can see how other people have built their cars. And this car, at the motor this is from, actually was on EV Album. It's a really, really weird three-wheeled car that was kind of ugly. No offense to the person that made it, but the person that bought it actually had a lot of these components in it already. And I'll tell you, one of the best ways to get an EV conversion done for cheap, honestly, is to buy someone else's EV conversion because those parts are heavily depreciated. Not many people want to buy someone else's project because it's literally someone else's project. And what you could do in a lot of cases, you could buy that, take the parts that you need, and then just build the car that you want. Because again, like you saw on eBay, these parts are worth a damn fortune. Yeah, we give a bunch of these away for the greater good. And it's funny, I wouldn't doubt it for a second if like these parts ended up in someone else's project. And to keep the budget low, keep the price low, this is what you have to do. So we have a lot of the components that we need already to kind of make it move. We have the hairball interface and we have the controller. What I'm gonna do is I have the old mount for the transmission. I'll put the mount right here, mount the transmission to it, and again, that Lovejoy connector is what I have to mate those two services together to make sure that I could have this thing actually move and move around as I see fit. So this is an interesting motor here because this is the one that I picked up from a school that didn't need it anymore. And this is what I was saying in the beginning, that a really good place to get a lot of these projects, there are school projects or school EV conversion programs or schools that have any kind of like vocational technical program. A lot of them have these things because the students want them. The teachers want to convert, cars from electricity, or to teach students how to work on these cars, and they buy stuff like this, and the students lose interest. So they actually sold it to me for $200, and this is a Warp 9. And Warp 9s go for like $1,100 used in a lot of cases for decent money. So I think this is definitely a good pickup. Another place to get cheap stuff from: try a school. Go to a school, and then just say, "Hey, you got any free stuff for me?" And then when they say no, peek in their windows anyway, because they're probably
Sick and tired of hearing people go, don't be like him. He has no glasses on.
Yeah, welding with no glasses, huh? Lee, it's very unsafe, very unsafe.
Yeah.
Hey, do me a favor, Lee. Can you just, before you start welding, actually while you're welding or plasma cutting, just talk about how reliable minis are, because I got my ass
There
handed
is no
to me.
reliability on a Mini.
I got my ass handed to me about all these people that are buying cars for $50 online, saying that Mini Coopers are the most reliable cars they've ever owned in their lives. From a shop perspective, since you own one, tell me what you're seeing, Lee, for these minis, because you've been working.
Anything after 50,000 miles or
But you were at BMW, weren't you?
Yep.
So you know the deal.
Mhm.
So you know the
And
cars.
Mini.
Yeah, and Mini.
Yeah, so R53s, R50s, transmission main shaft snapping, clutches going completely by 5,000, 7,000 miles, wiring harnesses not built correctly, water leaks from the sunroof mass leaks, sunroof creaks, suspension bolts breaking randomly in the rear suspension, engine oil pressure dropping, oil filter housings leaking. Let's see, timing chains on the newer ones. Timing chains are a nightmare on the newer ones.
Which one, if someone had a gun to your head and said you have to pick one Mini, which one are you gonna pick? What year? What model year?
Oh, yeah, exactly. No, yeah, it's nope. I would have to think too hard. Probably the one at the junkyard, knowing that it already has problems.
A few I looked at, most of them weren't running, but the one that I looked at, it had an issue where it got flooded. I think they just parked it outside.
Yep.
And it rained really hard, and the car never worked again. Actually, 4 of them I looked at did that. Is that like a common thing?
Yes, very common flooding problems. Very common. Almost all their sunroofs leak. They have some cowl problems in the front that leak. Also, windshields. Oh, the early ones. Windshields would crack just randomly. You could be 10 miles after buying the car or 1,000 miles. Windshield just crack randomly.
Just cause?
Yep. Sunroofs randomly stop working, jamming, and that's low mileage, and you always have sunroof creaking noises and rear hatch creaking. It is the cheapest BMW owned, but the worst built BMW car with the crap parts they have just sitting around on
the shelf
or the floor.
Yeah, from all the other cars they did, right?
Yeah, like, oh, these parts are junk. Oh, what are we gonna do with them? Are we gonna recycle them, or are we gonna, just build a car?
Let's make a Mini.
Yeah, we bought the rights to Mini. Let's build something.
Yeah, I gotcha. All right, good. And that's the reason why these cars are literally $1,000 on Craigslist.
Yeah.
So that's the reason why. So which ones are better, the supercharged ones or the turbo ones? Which ones are worse, I should say?
Worse, out actually the more problems. The turbo ones.
Okay.
They have the more problems. The supercharged ones have their own problems. Supercharged will detonate. They ran the water pump off the supercharger, and the supercharger had its own oil in the back of it. It would suck the oil slowly into itself, and these gears would actually just fry themselves, and the water pump would stop working. Then you'd have overheating issues. Shops would tell you need a thermostat, this and this. No, you got to take the supercharger out, take it all out. And a lot of guys didn't know what to do with it. They had to make you buy another supercharger.
Right.
Water pump assembly, everything that, like almost $3,000 later on a car that's worth maybe $3,500 at the time.
Maybe $3,000. Right. All right. Well, there it is. There's your answer.
Let's see if the plasma cutter will cut through this whole weld. That's a nasty weld.
Yeah.
So the reason why I'm using a plasma cutter instead of a torch, we don't want to damage or cut through part of this coupling.
Those are pretty damn important, right? Oh, it's cutting it already.
Oh, it's already. Yeah, I just was there for a few seconds.
All right, good. Yeah, give me, Lee, give me.
You see
You
that?
cut it
right?
out? All right,
Cut it
shake it
out.
out. Shake that grill out. Shake it out. Yeah.
Oh, watch. Go ahead and touch
Is
that.
that hot?
No. You grab it. One, two.
Damn.
Yeah, that's starting to.
That was hot.
That's hot.
All right, good. We're off to a good start.
Now we
Okay.
grind that down.
Make it nice and sexy. Now, here's the thing. So now, let's see. Yeah, that should work. All right. I won't tell you how to do your job. I'm going to keep talking to Chris about girls.
I'm going to just hit it with a hammer.
Yay.
And
That's a hell of a difference, huh? Can you still look at that? Wow. Okay.
so we have that. Machine it down. In this or this, either one. Make that inner diameter larger to fit that, and I would make it so it's within like a thousandths. So it'd be a very tight, nice, perfect fit. And that would clean up everything of that. Go ahead, touch that. Tell me how your fingers feel.
Not now.
You sure? It's warm. It's gonna. Ooh. See how it's catching?
Yeah.
On the slag. I'm taking my time.
Send it, Lee. Send it home.
All right. Your eyeballs.
Yeah. My Harbor Freight welder doesn't do this well. Holy smokes, Lee!
That's what happens.
I can't do that with mine.
No.
Jeez. Mine just spits everywhere. Thank you, Lee. Thank you very much.
When you go home, make sure you run a file on these splines.
Yeah.
Just when you do it, because I might have bungered up.
I'm not gonna do that. You know I'm not gonna do that. I don't have that kind of time, Lee.
Oh,
Thank
hammer,
you.
right?
Yeah, just a hammer. You know what's funny? Lee, quiz for you. So name a tool that could make another tool just like it.
Ooh.
Easy one.
Is it?
Yeah.
I'm going blank. What is it?
Hammer.
All right.
If you have a hammer, you can make another hammer. Have a hammer. Another one allegedly is a lathe.
Yeah, it can. It can make a lathe.
You know?
All right.
Allegedly.
You want to see the oldest tool I have? Seriously? 1891. Press wrench.
Say, please keep your pants on.
Yeah.
He comes out from underneath
Yeah, I
the
don't know.
car.
Yeah. All right, shout out to Lee for doing this coupling for me. This is awesome. So I'm gonna take this out, and the next thing that I have to do now is, this is an old greasy pizza box. I have to lay the transmission on top of this pizza box and trace out the outside of it. What that'll allow me to do, that'll actually make the backing plate for the motor to attach to itself. So once I trace this out, you'll see the tracing on this sheet. Then I have to bring that sheet to a machine shop, and they have to cut out the shape for me. All right, and here is the shape that I traced out. After I cut this out, I have to bring this to the machine shop to get this plate cut out. Now, these holes are the corresponding holes that are in the transmission as well, and these are important because this is what's gonna bolt that backing plate to the transmission. And these 4 holes right here are the corresponding holes that correspond to this this motor right here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Because this is what's gonna mount the motor to that actual backing plate. Here, the circle, that's where the shaft of the motor comes through. That comes through right here, the shaft. I have to make sure that size is exact. I measured that, and that's gonna be right here. So the machine shop is gonna cut all these things out for me. Again, if you wanna be cheap, you don't have to go this extreme. You could literally get a square plate, round off the edges, get a drill press, drill out these holes yourself. This big ass one, good luck with that. That's kind of big, but you could do yourself at home for probably like less than about $35 or so. The most expensive part is gonna be the actual metal piece that you have to purchase to cut out in the first place. Okay, so I got this back from the machine shop. They asked me what color I wanted, and I said, give me the cheapest color that you guys have that people refuse to use, and it's this really weird light blue color, which is perfect because this powder coat color was absolutely free $99, and I will take it because no one's gonna see it anyways. The next step, I have to bolt this to the transmission and then mount the motor to this. is finally attached to the transmission. Just think, that big, greasy, disgusting engine was attached to this. It looks so much cleaner and streamlined now. And like an idiot, one thing I didn't realize was I didn't test the actual motor like a buffoon. All right? So the reason why this was so cheap very well could be because it just didn't work. But DC motors, for the most part, are pretty bulletproof. All I have to do is just connect it's to 24, 48 volts to those two terminals and make sure it spins. I should see this spinning right here on that side, and also the other side for the other axle. But that should do it. So I'm super excited about this. I'm going to be testing that. I hope it works. I'm going to keep the manual transmission. Obviously, it's still attached to it. The mount is already there, so I can mount it right to the car in the original area. But we're off to a really good start here. I think it could be a really successful project. There's enough torque here to move this thing around, no problem. But again, we're up to about half our budget right now. For the next steps, I have to figure out how I'm going to work on the power steering as well as the power brakes. I'm going to clean the inside of this, get all the grease out of there, make sure it's nice and clean. Linda was supposed to do it. She didn't do it, unfortunately. So it's a matter of me figuring out the rest and on how to do this stuff. But I'm going to start the wiring process as well next episode, and we should be in good shape. And to those that saw Linda in this episode and didn't like it, I wanted to personally apologize for the free content. I am sorry that you don't like the free content that you watch and pay absolutely nothing for. And that's it. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. If you want to see updates on the electric Mini Cooper, don't forget to follow me on Instagram @RichieBKid, and I will see you guys next week. Adios.